This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
Good evening. Governor Brian Sandoval gave his third State of the State address tonight, and there were some surprises when he outlined his priorities over the next 2 years. And we do have team coverage of tonight's speech for you from both sides of the aisle. Paul Nelson is live outside the legislative building in Carson City with how the governor's to-do list could affect the upcoming session. But we'll begin with Adam Varahachikal, who's live in our newsroom with a breakdown of what the governor is proposing and how Democrats reacted. Adam?
Yeah, Ari, the governor's proposing a $7.3 billion general fund budget through 2017. And a big part of his speech tonight focused on boosting education in the state.
We must dare to write the next chapter of the Nevada story.
We care about the direction Nevada will take and make sure that all Nevadans share in a bright future.
The governor is proposing to invest an additional $882 million in K-12 and higher education over the next 2 years. And education makes up more than half of his budget.
Improving our public education system must therefore begin with modernization. And modernization requires investment.
He touched on ways to improve literacy, school technology, and battling against bullying. He also talked about supporting legislation that improves charter schools.
My budget provides $20 million in matching funding to encourage successful, proven charter school organizations to open more schools in Nevada.
A lot of this funding could come from the more than $1 billion in taxes proposed in the governor's budget.
Tonight, I'm pleased to announce the expansion of one of Southern Nevada's homegrown technology companies.
He's talking about the data center Switch, which is looking to move to northern Nevada with an expected $1 billion economic impact. In the Democratic response, Assembly Minority Leader Marilyn Kirkpatrick says lawmakers need to work together to do more for the poor and middle class this legislative session.
Those are the people that ultimately will make Nevada a better place, or they will continue to be discouraged and disappointed by the hard choices we refuse to make.
Now keep in mind the governor's proposals all have to go through the Nevada legislature before anything is set in stone. Covering the big story live in the newsroom, Adam Varahachikal, Channel 2 News.
Okay, Adam, thank you. And as he mentioned, the governor's speech is just the beginning of things to come. The state legislature, of course, does still have to look at his plan and decide which direction they want to go for the next 2 years. Paul Nelson spoke with several of our state lawmakers tonight and joins us now live from the legislative building. Paul, how are Republicans and Democrats reacting to the governor's plan?
Well, Ari, there appears to be some common ground that tends to get lost in the shuffle during legislative sessions. As you know, the Democrats have been clamoring to get more revenue to fund education for years, and Sandoval's plan might just make both parties happy. Democrats and Republicans alike cheered throughout Governor Sandoval's State of the State address, particularly when it comes to modernizing and rebuilding Nevada's education system.
I thought the governor knocked it out of the park. This is bold, transformative education reform. I support his plan. I support his budget. We're going to fund his budget.
I liked a lot of the ideas. A lot of them are ones that we've had discussions on in the past years and really good suggestions that have been vetted. So I think they're ones that are going to be received favorably.
Some of those ideas include educational issues that support many of his Democratic counterparts' ideals.
We've been fighting for full-day kindergarten and preschool and lower class sizes and breakfast in schools for a very long time. So it was nice to see those things come to fruition.
Of course, paying for those things is another issue. Sandoval's proposed budget includes $7.3 billion in general fund spending, $1 billion more than projected revenues.
He cast aside political risk, and he laid out a vision for us for the future of the state of Nevada. He focused on the next generation to come, and I was excited by what I heard.
The governor is bucking the conservative trend, asking to continue sunset taxes and modify the existing business license fee to increase revenue.
As he indicated, not everyone's going to think it's perfect, but I know the governor, and I know that he has looked at every different option in terms of being able to balance the budget in a way that makes sense, and I think this plan will work.
Now, while many of these lawmakers seem to be on board with Sandoval's plan, they still have a 120-day session to work out all the details. They say they're looking at this session as an opportunity and have very high expectations. Covering the State of the State address live, Paul Nelson, Channel 2 News.
All right, Paul, thank you. Well, a surprise to many of us tonight during the State of the State address was seeing ousted Washoe County School District Superintendent Pedro Martinez in the crowd. But he had a reason for being there. Governor Sandoval announced that Martinez will head up a new achievement school district for the state. That new district isn't location specific. It's a special designation to address underperforming schools across the state. And we spoke with Martinez after the address, and he tells us there are many underperforming schools in Nevada, and many of them have been that way for quite some time.
One of the things that they really, the governor and the state superintendent really want is they want my best thinking on the best practices, best strategies to help the lowest performing schools.
Now, the list of the 78 underperforming schools in Nevada is expected to be released tomorrow. Of course, there were a lot of things proposed tonight that will impact many people across the state and in our area. Channel 2 will be following those stories and providing in-depth information on them in the coming days and months. Well, new tonight.